do homework at the end of class. But if we can't start on time, then we probably can't end on time. So we need graph paper out, of course. We're going to check 532, and if you haven't done it, why not? You've had it since Tuesday. And we are not tomorrow going to collect 533. I went ahead and decided we'll just collect 3 homeworks this week, which means next week will be the homeworks 3, 4, 5, and then closure. But closure we do together in class. So really, like, we got 3 homeworks to turn in this week, 3 homeworks that'll turn in next week. So let's check 532. The front of it really only had this one problem involving that spinner about what color and if we match. So just like rock, paper, scissors, if we set up our area model or our generic rectangle, or you can name this a lot of different things, but if we set up this probability table, and that's really what this is, right? It's a probability table. If you go in the order purple, green, black, purple, purple, green, green, black, black. But either way, if our event 1 and event 2 are the same things, I would write them in the same order because it will make things easier for your brain. By the way, a reminder, because this table looks a lot like the dice table with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. If you've lost that resource page, get another. They're on top of the resource center back there. They're standing up vertically so you can see them and they're in your face. If you need another probability resource page, get that at some point. I'm going to start passing papers back because some of you already turned this in, I just realized. If we are going to increase, guys, costs going up is kind of assumed. Hey, I shouldn't see pencils moving. I can see highlighters moving. That would be fine. Highlighters would be great, actually. But I should not see pencils moving because we don't do our homework while we're checking homework. That's real close to cheating. So if we're going to increase by 20%, we can first figure out what the 20% is and then add it. Or you could have done a different way and actually just multiplied the old price by 1.2, because 1.2 would be 120%. You're going to go up by 20%. You're now going to be at 120%. So there's different ways that you could have done that one. In 112, again, guys, we got to practice order of operations to know if we know what we're doing. Guys, during practice is when it's safe to mess up. There's no real risk to screwing up on this. But a lot of your parents right now are going to be starting to do their taxes. There's a relatively big risk if you screw up on your taxes. You would like to understand basic math before you have to do things in life that actually have risk involved with them. Quit avoiding the tough stuff, practice doing this, and then check answers to see if we know what we're doing. In 113, we haven't done algebra tiles in a hot minute, like in a little while. So in 113, you got to remember, shaded is positive, empty is negative, and it's a little tough to see up here, at least this one. Well, I guess if you're out there from the side, it looks a little weird. But so every time you have a positive and a negative connected to each other or like able to join up, what happens when you have a positive and a negative with each other? They cancel.
For those problems, I just put like x and then like 2x. Does it matter if I don't have the negative?
For that problem, what
Because I
then?
just put like x for the shaded and then 2x for the light.
So, but those are negative 2x, but you wrote it as positive. So that's my only critique for that, is if we're going to write it out, those are negative 2x, then we have positive x, then we have 3 negatives, and then we have 2 positives. But if I join up all the zeros that I can make, because they tell us to combine like terms and make zeros, so we got to simplify. We should end up down at negative x plus negative 1. Does that make sense? We got to make sure that we write the negatives as negatives. Got to make sure we write the negatives as negatives. Emery?
I was getting my stuff out, so just the clear ones are the negatives, right?
Yeah, the empty, because when we first talked about this, I think I have a shirt over here that I can use this example again. when you are designing a shirt, especially if you want to design your shirt for cheap, you might make an image, like you might take an image that is 2 colors, but the color of the shirt is going to be your secondary color. So this missing space is what we call negative space. Literally, in design, in art, like this is positive space because it was ink I had to put on the shirt, right? That was ink that we had to put on there. This is now a shape, but it's a negative space. I didn't put any ink there. It exists because of the positive ink that creates the negative space. And more math in this shirt. This has some visual perspective because it like has an angle to it, so it kind of looks like it's you're actually looking at a 3D object. And if you did not know, this is a reference to Van Halen. One of their logos has the VH in this like layout, and none of you guys probably know who Van Halen is, but it's okay. I'm old. In B, same thing. Zeros, a positive and a negative make zeros. This one's oddly similar to one that we had on our mini mastery, so hopefully we're getting better at that now. It's not the same. It's just pretty darn similar to what we did on the mini mastery. Any other questions from that homework, which is due tomorrow? Would you please stop doing your homework? Okay, that's okay. That's also what Homework Help will tell you. If you go to Homework Help to get help on the algebra tile problems, they will first remind you empties are negative, shaded are positive. Emery.
Wait, so I'm confused why 6x is the area. Shouldn't the area be like the x squared?
Oh yeah, I probably put that. That's supposed to be perimeter.
Wait, do I get to change it?
I mean, sure. I don't care. I gotta draw a full. Yeah, I think I just didn't do area up here to make you do it. But what's the area? Come on, guys. Area is easy. I know, bad word. What's the area of this shape up here? Anyone.
X squared plus x plus 1.
X squared plus x plus 1. Right? You just look at it and you know it. Perimeter is tougher. Sam?
Would it be okay if you had 6x because the 3 ones get canceled out by the
Yep, the 3 positive ones get canceled out by the negative ones. Yeah, it simplifies down into just 6x. Like, that's your perimeter. Sorry, yeah, again, I was probably in an airport distracted by people watching, because I love people watching, not gonna lie. Alright, I gotta save this before I move on, because I've made a bunch of edits this morning, so I want to make sure we're good. So, reminder for people that showed up late, we are not gonna collect 534 tomorrow. I was never going to collect 534. We're not going to collect 533 to give you a bit more time on it. So the homework we just checked should be done by tomorrow, because you had it since Tuesday. If you'd like to start sitting where you want to again, we need to get above 70% homework completion. That's failing. Well, depending on what grading scale you use. 70% and or below is normally not a good grade. Even on the easier grading scale, that's still like a C or a D, even if it's not like an F yet. But there's different grading scales, whether you're on 7 point, 8 point, 10 point. All right, all that to say, do your job, manage your time, be honest with yourself and your parents. We're going to do a couple of these on graph paper to check if we know what we're doing. So I should see graph paper in front of everyone. Pacheco is how that name would be pronounced. Would anyone like to read? Bethany? Pacheco.
Miss Patel, Mr. Edward, and Miss Richard. Mr. Richard are 3 math teachers at Turner Middle School. Miss Patel is 3 years older than Mr. Richard.
Pause. Does that feel important?
Yeah.
We should probably highlight that. Now, you don't have this on your paper, so in a minute, you're going to write down what you want on your paper. Do not write all these words. That would be silly. We can write this mathematically and write a whole lot less. Keep going.
Mr. Edward is twice as old as Mr. Richard.
Feels important. I went ahead and made that decision for us.
The sum of Mr. Richard's age and Mr. Edward's age is 81. How old is each person?
Ooh, interesting. All right, I'm going to give you a minute or two to write down what you think needs written down and start playing with this. Be careful, the sum part, that's not the same as what we did yesterday. Go ahead, guys. Write down what we see from what we highlighted, or like what we know from what we highlighted. I'm just getting more pencils. Guys, we're going to run out of pencils. It's only February. We're going to have to figure this out, or y'all are going to have to start bringing more pencils.
I think this happens like every year, you know?
Well, it wouldn't happen if people would keep track of their pencils for longer than a class period. I'm trying to be honest and actually give you guys time. You are welcome to talk to each other. Double check with your partner, and if you are that partner getting double checked with, don't just agree with them. Turn your brain on. Speak up if you think they're not quite right. By the way, guys, if you want to keep your paper a bit cleaner, you can kind of box out these different problems. This is problem 118. If you want to label it, this is problem 118. Sophie, tell me one thing we could write down. P equals R plus 3. Any disagreement? Bethany, tell me one thing we could write down.
P equals R times 2.
Sorry, gravity works.
Wow, that's good.
I haven't dropped as many things this year. One year I dropped like a whole lot of things, and that's when the phrase gravity works like became just like my thing. Sorry, what'd you say?
E equals R times 2.
So again, like we talked about a little bit yesterday, you could do R times 2. It's just a bit nicer in the math world to put the multiplier in front. And I know, it's like two different rules of here we're going to do R plus 3 and we like to put this number after, and here we like to put the number in front. Sorry. That's just kind of like the rules of, it's not right versus wrong, it's just that's the better way. Devin, is there anything else I can write down?
R plus E equals 81.
R plus E equals 81. Okay. Matt, what could I then do with these three things that I've written up here? Ooh, I said Matt. Matt, are you a ventriloquist? Are you throwing your voice across the room? Yeah, so yesterday we kept working with a situation that would be like all three of them, right? But yeah, this one's not in all three of them. Safe?
Oh, you could try doing P and E thing.
What do you even say more?
Oh, like we could do R plus. You know, like you could like remove that thing on the right.
That thing?
The one in the blue. The R plus E equals
Okay.
81.
I think that's important, but why are you saying remove that?
And then we could like solve those, right?
How could we solve those? I think we need this number of what they add up to.
Oh.
I'm gonna pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Is your hand up or not? I can't tell from that. You could put what?
The P for
this uses R. This uses R. We already have an R here. Ashley, you got an idea what we can do? We don't need to combine all the R's. I agree with you. We need to combine some. Not necessarily all of them, though, Sophie. R would equal R, right? I mean, this R, this Mr. Richards, from right there, this is just R. We just went ahead and wrote R as R. Guys, do we know anything else that we could use for E? Eli? Guys, E can get replaced with 2R. So over here where we have R plus E, replace that E with what you know it is. 2R. What's 1R plus 2R? 3R. You guys have heard about the new pirate movie, right? Well, you're probably not allowed to go see it. It's rated R. Matt saw it coming and he tried to stop it. He was like, no, no! Ezekiel, if we have 3 times R, and I'm really trying to figure out what R is, what can we do? You betcha. Guys, I'm telling you, I promise, I swear to you, I'll even Scout's honor. If you just take time to do these during class, your homework is going to be way easier and way faster because you've already got practice and you're going to be familiar with it. We replaced E with 2R. We put the R's together. Since we have 3 of them and only really want 1 of them, we're going to divide, and we get that R is 27. Whoa, okay, now I feel kind of bad. That means I'm older than Mr. Richards. Okay, hold on, let's figure out how old Miss Pacheco is. How can I figure out how old Miss Pacheco is? Okay, everyone shout it out. We just plug in the 27. So P equals, I'm older than Miss Pacheco. Hold on, let's see if I'm older than everyone up here, because then I'm just going to feel bad. What can I do with the E?
Well, you do 27 times 2.
Careful, I doubt that 27 times 2 will be 57, because the 7 on the end times 54. You're just already so good at this rating that you don't need to write these down. All right, I'm not 54. Calm down. I'm like 34, thank you very much.
Very youngest question.
You sound young, yes?
Oh, you're very young.
Okay. I'm young at heart, right? Yes. I have a child's mind. All right, does this make sense? Any questions? Yes, I am 34. I don't really feel like it, though. Because at a certain point, age just doesn't really matter. Try this one on your own. Okay, all right, on your own, but would you like me to highlight up here? All right, I need some help. Carolina, what's something I should highlight up here? I know, take a moment because you haven't even had time to read. Yeah, I don't think the time matters. I'm glad you skipped over that. But he counted 4 more frogs than turtles. Emery, give me something else I can highlight.
The number of crayfish he counted was 3 more than twice the number of turtles.
Crayfish was 3 more than twice the number of turtles. Ooh, that's one of the trickier ones. Jack, what else? Ooh. In just turtles and crayfish, he counted 54. Try this one out. You've got partners, you've got teammates. You're welcome to turn to whoever you might want to get help with. I mean, I can be looking. Alright, so how do we write down? He counted 4 more frogs than turtles. That's a tricky phrase. Are we going to start with F equals or T equals? Yeah, because they're talking about the frogs was 4 more than turtles, right? He counted 4 more frogs. So the frogs had 4 more than the turtles. Yeah, no, I would connect that up because that kind of looks a little weird. I mean, it's your notes, so it doesn't matter. But I was getting at it, especially because FT and 4 all look kind of similar. Hey, these phrases are a little tricky, so I know I said on your own, but I don't want you to fall in the trap door. This phrase is tricky. He counted 4 more frogs than turtles. So are we talking about the number of frogs or the number of turtles? The number of frogs. So that phrase right there is going to be an F equals what, Donna? Yeah, and I do not use lowercase t's because they look like plus signs. All right, keep going. I just want to make sure we didn't fall in that trap door. What? No, you have teammates. You have 2 teammates.
So there are more frogs than there are turtles in fish because he counted more frogs than turtles. But
This way now, but I can't
he
get
said
to
he
the table.
counted more. So it has to be more.
Wait, look, 4 more frogs.
Wait, what is 2t plus 3? So we should probably put that here, right? C equals. Do you use a pencil, dude? You just like working in highlighter. Alright, I still have more pencils back here. There are plenty.
I know that, but it says that there are 3 more turtles by the number.
How many turtles?
But then it says over.
Jane, what could I write for the crawfish? Or sorry, crayfish. They are 2 different animals.
I don't know if I did this right, but I did times 2.
So, I'm going to break this apart. 3 more than. Am I going to start by writing the 3? No, because I got to figure out what am I 3 more than. What am I 3 more than? Twice the number of turtles. Do you guys still remember the turtle video of the kid? Like he's like face painted. All right, so if we get done with class early, I want to show you guys this video that because social media dies so quickly. Yes, the I like turtles kid. All right, so 2t plus 3. All right, Arfon, what else do I know that I could write mathematically?
T plus C equals 54.
T plus C equals 54. What, the 2t? Absolutely. Guys, just be careful if you're a 2t, your friends might ask you to step away from them. It's a fart joke.
I did try to
Safe. What could I do next?
We can do. So we did another one. We did 2. Wait. Yeah, 2t. We can remove the C, right?
Well, not remove. We can
Yeah,
replace.
replace it with the 2t's.
Who agrees with Safe that we can replace the C over here since we know what C is over there? I agree with Safe.
I agree.
So we now have T plus 2. We're getting there. I think he forgot to say it the first time, but I bet he would have caught it when he went to write it down. And this is why we write our work. So this 2t plus 3, I'm going to underline with the yellow. That came from what we wrote about C, the crayfish. Go ahead and try to finish this on your own. I bet you know how now because we've been practicing. I bet you know how now. Just kind of sounds fun. How now, brown fan? Well, I'm going to do it. It's Thursday. It's game night.
Yeah.
Who what? I didn't even catch that. You're deeper thinking than I am.
So then it's 18 plus 3, which is 21.
Yeah, I don't normally like make those like people's names because that's not quite nice. Also, my friends would joke about my name when I was younger.
So T.
Yeah. Whatever. Talk to your why you. Oh, the fact that the calculator's being weird. Go all the way to the bottom.
So now this T right here.
And then hit clear.
So wait, do we add the 3 onto the...
Sam, what could I do next?
Divide 54 by 3, and that would get you...
Not yet.
Oh,
Now here's what. Now hold on. You could, because I think what Sam did first was combine these and get 3t plus 3 equals 54. Hey, look up here. Promise, I'm trying to help you avoid trapdoors. Sam could divide by 3 right now. And here, it wouldn't be that bad. But, it's really obvious when you guys right up front aren't looking at what I'm trying to show you. If we divide by 3 right now, everything gets divided by 3. Even this plus 3, which sure, here, that's not that bad. But what if that was like a 7? And then we tried to divide by 3? It's going to get gross. So before we divide, we'd like to clean this up and get rid of anything that's plus or minus on the variable side. So how can I get rid of this plus 3 anyone? Minus 3, right? Because we need to turn it into 0, so we're going to do minus 3 on both sides. On both sides.
So you have to do like 51 divided by 3.
So now, hold on. First, I have to write my work. 3t equals 51. Now is when it's safer. Safer. Not like we could have divided by 3 back there, but this is safer. Now we can do what Sam told me to and divide by 3. Anyone know 51 divided by 3 just off the top of your head?
17.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's the 17. I don't like doing that in red. Nah, he's cooler than me. Then, if I now know turtles. Yeah, if I now know my turtles, how can I figure out my other values? Plug back in my number of turtles. Like we don't have to find how many frogs.
21.
21. How many crayfish?
37.
37. All right, I got one more. No, I don't. I mean, yes, I do, but we're moving into the next lesson, and this is why 534 is also tomorrow's homework. So now, grab your 534 paper. You have the power to do the highlighting and write down whatever we need, and probably solve this entire problem without me. So, like, dive in, start highlighting, start writing, start doing whatever you think. How many Choco Blasters are in a mini box?
Isn't this on our paper?
I can't hear you since we're supposed to be doing this, and I think you're not talking about that. I have like a selective deafness. Selective deafness sounds cool. Choco Blasters. Nervous. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Is that a book about crows? A group of crows is called a murder.
Why do we name it that?
I'm sorry, I love Thursdays because I know I get to hang out with my friends tonight. I'm in a good mood. The jokes are they're just fun. Also, I'm holding out hope right now that I will have homework turned in tomorrow. But, then after I might get sad if homework doesn't get turned in. But
You want to start
Wait a minute. We have to use the 5D process.
You do not! What did I say about when it says use the 5D? You do not have to. It is up to you. You can use algebra instead because I think highly of you guys, and I don't think we need to spend time doing the guess and check process. I think we can just take you straight into algebra. Which, like back in the day, this class would have been called pre-algebra. I mean, it's better.
I tried to
That's a lot.
I
I think-
like that.
I think a lot of people, not just kids, but people, just say, I don't like math to try to protect themselves for when they get the answer wrong, and they're like, well, I don't like math anyway, so who cares?
So R equal to MC minus
Ooh, we made it all the way. Well, I dropped my card, so I don't know if we technically made it all the way around. Sophia, can you help me write what I highlighted in green, but let's write it mathematical? How do I start for the May has? Yeah, M equals. Now wait a minute. What does she have? 1. And the whole problem's talking about mini boxes. What variable did you guys choose? I mean, we want to use only one letter. I'm just going to use C because of the Choco Blasters, right? I'm going to do. You. Okay, fine. I'll use B for box.
Yay!
Okay, so May has 1 box. And what, Sophia?
Plus 3.
And 3 extra pieces. I think I need to shuffle because now I do think we made it all. If I didn't pull your cards, sorry, I dropped them. So, my bad. Kamal, what else can I write? Doubt me. Safe thought I was going to do addition. That's why I think he was saying, look at mine. Addition of the negative. Because and she gave. Guys, and says plus. You don't have to write it like this. You could just do 2b minus 6. That's fine. But and essentially tells us, like, add on. Raiden, you know how many Choco Blasters are in each box? Because you look like you're bored right now. You're trying to cut your paper with your eraser. Or vice versa. But either way, I think this is more important than that experiment. Ezekiel? So, let's process how do we get there. What do we do now? Not magic. What do we do now? Yeah,
Oh.
go ahead if you want to guide me there.
What I tried to do, if you do 2 boxes minus 6, then it's going to be a box plus 3. So
Whoa! You said this, but you said it out loud, and I'm just going to write it mathematically. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's 9.
Well, but let's not just guess and check. That's like 5D, and I tore up a piece of paper. Well, how do we get there?
I don't know how to explain how I do it. Like, so
Do you want me to pull another card?
it's like 2 boxes minus 6 equals a box plus 3.
That's what I just wrote. I just wrote it in the other order.
So 9 minus 6 would be 3.
Well, but if it's 2 times 9, though. See, this is where I don't really like the guess check. Let's actually process through this. How can I get rid of a negative 6? I can add 6. Guys, again, if you take the time to write this down now, the rest of your life is going to be easier. To get rid of a negative 6, we can add 6. But we always have to be fair and do it to both sides. So this is going to turn into 0. I mean, we still have 2b, but the minus 6 and the plus 6, they cancel. Just like what we've been practicing when we make zeros. So now my left side is b plus 9 equals 2b. I would like my b's to be together. How can I get my b's together? Safe?
2b, and so if you do 2b, you do 9 plus 2, which equals 11.
Careful,
12, okay.
careful. This is multiplication.
Add the b to the 2.
How could I get rid of this b from this side?
Move it over there.
Look up here, because I heard a couple people say the wrong thing. How do we get rid of this box? We need to minus, and we're minusing just 1b. Wait a minute, what's 2b minus 1b? 1b, because 2b take away 2 boxes, take away 1 box, equal to what do we still have on the left side?
9.
So Ezekiel was right. 1 box of Choco Blasters has 9 candies. Or Choco Blasters or whatever. Alright, I need to pause my recording